Welcome back to Afternoon Express. So it's Health Week, and today we're focusing on raw foods and veganism. And we've had a really interesting interview about someone who's adopted the lifestyle for themselves. But we haven't actually spoken about what veganism and raw food actually is. And so Peter Daniel, our chef that's in the loft with us today, he's a raw food chef, will tell us a little bit more about that. Because it's fascinating. What's the difference between vegetarianism and veganism and raw foods?
Veganism tends to be no animal foods of any kind, whether that's dairy products or eggs or animal food.
Okay, so no byproducts either as opposed to actual products.
Exactly,
Okay.
even to a point of no honey.
Wow.
Anything made really with an animal as part of it.
Okay.
Vegetarian, a little bit more relaxed,
Yeah.
no meat, but dairy and eggs.
Okay, and raw food, is that just, what's that?
So raw food actually isn't a diet, because all you're doing is you're taking your food and not cooking it.
Yeah.
So you could be a vegetarian, a vegan, a meat eater, a paleo, a banting, you can do all of it raw.
Okay.
You're just not cooking.
I see.
Yeah.
So sushi's regarded as raw food, except
For
without
sure.
the rice, unless you're just eating the sashimi. All right, so we're going to be cooking a raw food dish with us in the loft today, and it's something that's good for those parties that you're hosting at your house. And it's very delicious, by the way. Anyone who likes a pesto will love this dish that we'll be making. So how do we get started with what we're making?
Pesto is actually really simple to make. You need the green, you need the fat, and you need the flavor.
Okay.
So you mix those three together and you've got a
something
pesto.
delicious.
Yeah. So any green really, whether it's basil or rocket or coriander or even spinach, you want that green base. Then any seeds, which will give you the fat.
And today's fascinating, so I'm going to interrupt you there because today is so fascinating. We're cooking with hemp seed, all right? You guys will see it right over here in the loft with us today, and everyone's got very confused, and I'm sure a lot of people out there are going like, I actually didn't know the difference between healthy hemp food that you can eat and the one that's obviously used for recreational purposes that we do not recommend you use in the kitchen at all.
No,
What is the
sure.
difference between what you're using and...
So the industrial hemp is grown primarily for fiber and seed, so it's very low in the psychoactive THC. Very low to no levels.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter what you do with this, it'll never get you high, it'll never get you stoned.
Okay.
Whereas obviously the drug variant is grown specifically for the cannabinoid THC, which gets you high.
I see. Okay, fantastic. We're using the seeds today, which I think is also quite cool. So let me help you out, because apparently this just gets thrown into a blender. So
yeah,
let's get
there's
started.
a few pieces of equipment you could use. I've just got my blender, and that's what I use. It's very quick. You could use a pestle and mortar. You can use a Magimix.
Okay.
You just want to get it all mashed up.
Basically, whatever's going to keep the kids busy for the longest, that's probably what you're going to want to use.
The one.
Okay, we're using the blender. What can I help
Yeah,
you
we're going to
with?
start with the greens. So
Cool.
you can grab a bunch of
You
each.
can take the basil, and I'll
Yeah.
do all of this, or just bits?
No, we can do it all.
So what have you got? Just basil there. Is this
Yeah,
also basil?
that's from my garden basil.
Yeah.
Definitely add that.
Chuck that in
You
there.
can actually smell the difference.
It
Pretty
is.
amazing. And yeah, rocket to pop it straight in.
Cool. I would also recommend, sorry, this is just my tip, is to not use too much of the wild rocket, because the wild rocket's got such a bitter flavor. I think when you do add it to this one, it'll just overpower everything else.
Absolutely.
Okay.
The fat does cut it really nicely, but if you're getting into getting organic greens or homegrown greens, they always have a much stronger flavor.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool.
You keep
so
adding
we can
those
do seeds. These are pumpkin seeds.
Yum.
In, them,
Always very good
in their
for
own
you.
right, really healthy. Loads of amazing nutrients, minerals. And then the hemp seeds. So the hemp seeds, oh man, I love them. They have perfect ratio of protein, very high protein, perfect ratio of omega-3, 6, 9 for your brain and for your entire body health. So they're almost the food designed for human health.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, what was your quick shift in terms of when you chose the lifestyle of veganism? Like, was there a moment in your life that you said, like, something has to change here?
I wasn't pushed up against the wall like many are with disease. I was actually just curious about becoming more and being able to be more healthy and more present, and went to a few workshops in the UK with raw foodists and was very impressed. And the information was sound, it made sense,
Yeah.
it was logical. Did a lot of research further and then was totally sold, and since I've never looked back. Yeah.
Sure, amazing.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people might get quite intimidated by the idea of changing their entire lifestyle and having to become completely vegan or completely raw in the way that they're dealing with their lives. And I think in some ways, just adopting a certain element of veganism or raw food deism is probably the best way to go. And instead of doing a complete 180 of your life.
Totally, that's what I recommend. Slowly, slowly. There's major changes that can happen. You don't want to have to rush that. Otherwise, you deal with detox symptoms and you feel terrible. I always recommend people do that, just add in principle. Like this pesto is easy,
Yes, it's
people,
simple.
Yeah.
And you guys can basically get this recipe from our website, by the way, afternoonexpress.co.za. And so what we've done is taken a whole bunch of these ingredients. We've taken some basil pesto, we've taken some rocket, we've added in some seeds, some pumpkin seeds were thrown in there, hemp seeds we also put inside, but a little pinch of salt just to add some flavor.
Yeah.
And we're adding some lemon for a slight little bit of a zest, and olive oil, obviously, to turn it into a nice little dipping paste.
Yeah, creaminess. So.
Cool. And all that's left is to blend that all up. And if you guys are wanting to make this first dish, just take one step towards raw foods and veganism. There's so much nutrients in what we're about to make here today. It's a great place to start. You can find the recipe on our website, afternoonexpress.co.za. But the moment we've all been waiting for. Let's make
blending
this
up.
thing do its thing.
Okay.
I'm telling you, this is his favorite part of being on the show, and making sure that he makes vegan food is blending things up and making lots of noise, right?
Voila.
All done. So we're going to put that into this little dish here, and we're serving it with a variety of vegetables. We've got some broccoli, some carrots, we've got some snap peas, and some other corn, and celery as well. So you guys can make up your own little varietals and make a really nice dip. So we'll taste that in a little bit later. AfternoonExpress.co.za, recipe and shopping list. Let's go back to the couch. A warm welcome back to Afternoon Express, although I should say probably a cold afternoon welcome back to Afternoon Express, because we're making raw food today. It's not cooked, and that's what's so delicious about it. It's so healthy for you. We're focusing on veganism, as it is Health Week right here on the show today. In the kitchen with us today is Chef Peter Daniel, and he's showing us 2 recipes today. We've made a pesto made with hemp seeds. We've thrown up a whole bunch of other greens inside of that one, a bit of oil and some seeds. Now we're focusing on something different, which is a nice smoothie, and it's a green smoothie. You can make it any time of the day, I'm right. But
For sure.
probably a good start to the day.
Definitely.
Right, just get those nice greens in, flush the system, make sure it's clean on the inside.
Fiber, not that sweet.
Okay.
The reason I've chosen greens for both the recipe, it's the food that most people ignore. You know, eating greens is low on the list of most people's priorities. So any way you can sneak it in, you know, the greens are the mineral miners.
Yes.
They get all the minerals, and the standard Western diet is very deficient in minerals. So
Exactly.
upping your green intake is key for health.
And so what's awesome about it is if you make it into a smoothie, you can just do it in one whole go. You don't have to have like each individual piece of vegetable on the side of your plate that you have to keep eating. Just put it all into a smoothie, drink them all in one go, and hopefully that'll get you started towards wanting to have a greener lifestyle. I got a tweet from someone to say he's a Xhosa man and they like a lot of meat, but you can always add a smoothie to that to make sure you do get your greens in as well. You don't have to be a complete vegetarian. Okay, how do we get started?
Great, so we've got water as the first ingredients. I collect my water from Newland Spring. I like my water,
You really are a natural man.
well,
How do you sleep? I don't want to know.
well, extremely well. Okay, so we've got a bit of water, and then it's really simple. It's greens and fruit.
Okay.
So the greens have obviously the strong bitter green taste, and the fruit, the sweetness of it, makes it delicious. So it's kind of where sneaking the greens in. So we've got a bag of mixed greens here. There's some
Watercress in there, I
watercress.
see.
I wouldn't put too much watercress in. It's a very strong flavor.
I'm not a fan. If I see salads with watercress in it, immediately my whole body like goes.
Let's use some of the spinach from my garden again. That stuff's great.
Nice, yes.
A little bit more.
Put a bit more, yeah.
let's
Spinach is
make it.
packed full of that iron.
Absolutely, let's do it all.
Totally.
Okay, and then we go for the fruit. So you can use pineapple, you can use mango, you can use figs, pretty much any sweet
Whatever's
fruit
in
will do.
season,
Yeah,
okay.
we've got the most amazing mangoes in season at the moment.
So can I just put these pieces in?
Totally, please do.
Yummy, yummy. Oh, I love mango. And when they're in season, oh, they are so delicious.
Yeah,
Cool. And the
these
whole
are
thing?
grown in the Western Cape. They're incredible.
Whole
Yeah,
thing
pop
of-
the whole thing in.
Pop that whole thing in there.
You're going to make this to taste. You know, some people have a very strong sweet, should I say most people have a strong sweet tooth.
Yes.
So you start with a lot of fruit and a little bit of green. And as you get used to the green, you back off on the
Yes.
fruit and you up the green.
And if you like a lot of greens, maybe something like apple is always a good option for you.
Absolutely.
I'm guessing this is also
A bit
going
of
to go in
lemon
here.
is great. The lemon just helps cut the taste of the green too and helps you digest the green a little bit better.
Okay. And also lemons are full of antioxidants and things, which is great for your system.
It's the most alkalizing fruit you can eat,
take
which is
those
quite
pips out.
amazing.
We
Oh,
can
the pips are
blend
good
it's
too. Yeah,
for
we can blend
fiber.
them up.
Cool.
So pop the lid on there. Got to tighten that one down
So
tight.
I'm totally taking over here because I love this little blender thing. It's
That's
so
so
cool. Okay, so I'm going to let you do the honors because you like blending things, it seems.
I've been doing it a long time.
Oh, there go the greens from the top. Let's get those in there.
Get them in there. There we go.
Yummy. Wow. What are some of the health benefits of obviously going green with your stuff in the raw vegan? Did you find like your entire life had changed, or was it just subtle things that you
No,
noticed?
major changes.
Really?
I was practically diabetic. Couldn't hold a glass of water because I'd shake so much. Constantly had to eat to keep my blood sugar stable. And the greens literally saved my life because the mineral density is so extreme with the greens that your whole system calms down. That's why I really focus on the greens.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people aren't eating a lot of this sort of vegetables and balancing that diet quite nice. I'm going to pour you a glass here too.
Thank you.
But I'd love to give this a taste because I've had people who've tweeted me during the show and said to me like, why don't you ever taste the food and tell me what it tastes like? Well, now you get a chance. Ooh, you've chosen such a nice combination of fruit in here. And to be honest, those of you who are worried about all of your greens and don't want to taste too much of the spinach or anything else, you literally can't taste it at all. It tastes like some delicious fruit. So start somewhere, lots of fruit, a little bit of greens, and then keep adding more greens as you go throughout the recipe and just make this throughout your days. Get a lot more raw food into your bodies. If you want to get this specific recipe though, and you want to make this one that tastes so delicious, it's on our website, afternoonexpress.co.za. Need to take a quick swallow there. Afternoonexpress.co.za is where you can find the recipe and the shopping list for this one, but throw your own ingredients if you can in there. And just make it your own, enjoy the process, and have fun with us right here on Afternoon Express. Over to the couch.
Wow. How you doing, YouTube fam? Thank you so much for watching, sharing and commenting. We love hearing from you, so be sure to keep up to date with all things Afternoon Express by clicking the subscribe button right here.